A warm welcome to you anywhere around the world. This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The charges of alleged conspiracy, treasonable felony and disruption of public peace filed against 150 young persons in the wake of August's nationwide protests have been struck out by the Federal High Court, Abuja. Justice Obiora Egwatu discharged the defendants based on a motion for discontinuance of the trial filed by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, on behalf of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi. The Justice Ministry took over the case in line with its powers in Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Sure that the children are safely returned back to their destinations. And before we return them, we want to do also due process of ensuring that they are medically fit. So we take them for safekeeping in the facility and make sure they're medically checked. And where we need to make additional treatment, we take care of them.
Again, we are calling on the government to discontinue all cases pending in different states with respect to the August protest.
Justice Egwatu, receiving no objection from the Defense Counsel, granted the requests and struck out the charges. He ordered the immediate release of the defendants from prison remand. President Tinubu had on Monday directed the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to terminate the trial by dropping charges against them and facilitate the release of the defendants, most of whom are said to be minors. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has handed over 119 minors arrested and others prosecuted during the August 2024 nationwide protests to Kaduna and Kano state governors. Vice President Kashim Shettima said the minors were released on humanitarian grounds. Moving on, the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center has commended President Bola Tinubu for instructing the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, to ensure the immediate release of all minors detained during the nationwide protests. In a statement by the Executive Director, CISLAC, Awal Musa Rafsanjani welcomed President Tinubu's decision, praising his willingness to investigate the circumstances leading to the arrests and hold responsible security personnel accountable. Additionally, CISLAC urged President Tinubu to extend this act of directive to others detained for the protests and fostering greater national unity, justice, and demonstrating a government open to addressing citizens' grievances. CISLAC also underscored the importance of police reforms, noting issues of police misconduct, including instances of brutality and corruption. The organization stressed that only through a merit-based and transparent recruitment process can Nigeria build a police force that serves and protects the public responsibly. CISLAC reaffirmed its support for any government efforts aimed at bringing reforms and improving good governance, commending President Tinubu for listening to Nigerians and addressing their demands for justice and accountability. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says Tinubu administration is implementing more financial support towards alleviating the pains and challenges being experienced on account of the bold economic reforms aimed at putting Nigeria back on track of sustainable growth and prosperity. This was at a town hall engagement in Abuja with beneficiaries of federal government loans for micro, small and medium enterprises operators. Correspondent Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Like the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, the Credit Cost Scheme, and the 200 billion naira initial funding for Consumer Credit Corporation, the Presidential Grant and Loan Scheme for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises is set to distribute 75 billion naira as loans to Nigerians.
The goal is to further diversify the Nigerian economy, create jobs, promote value addition, revitalize our communities, and boost our exports. We fully recognize that these reforms may have caused some temporary hardship, especially for the vulnerable population. And we will do everything, this government, will do everything within its power to cushion that discomfort. These single-digit loan facilities will be complemented by the ongoing tax reforms designed to reduce the tax burden on Nigerian businesses.
This is in line with the administration's target to transform Nigeria into a $1 trillion economy by the year 2026. The government image maker assured that no part of the country will be left behind and that all Nigerians are potential beneficiaries.
Once you put in your application, and your applications are judged to be in conformity with the rules and regulations set out, you will indeed be a beneficiary of this. There is no need for I know someone. There is no need for connection. You apply, you get.
Similar town hall meetings are being held across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
In another bold step, the federal government is set to begin disbursement of single-digit interest loans to all MSMEs across the country. Benny Adams reports that the new scheme, which is complementary to the ongoing conditional cash transfer, is in partnership with the state's government and begins next year. This was revealed at a stakeholders engagement meeting with small business holders in Abuja.
Meet Isaac Chima, a young entrepreneur from Abuja who owns a small but thriving ICT-based business center. He has been struggling to grow his business due to limited funds. But his luck changed when he heard about the presidential conditional grant and loan scheme.
Within 2 months, so I saw the alert came in, and I jumped up.
So how is that helping your business?
Yeah, my business is growing. My business is growing because more of my clients that do come, when I was having issue of printer, sometimes I do go out to print for them, but now I think I can print in my office.
This initiative, launched by the federal government, aims to empower more than 1 million small businesses across Nigeria with 50,000 grant per eligible beneficiary. But that's not all. The federal government has also established 2 other funds, the FGN MSMEs Intervention Fund and the FGN Manufacturing Sector Fund, totaling 200 billion naira to support businesses across Nigeria. These funds are expected to provide financial support to macro, small and medium enterprises and the manufacturing companies.
As of today, we have 39.2 billion, which has been disbursed to 784,394 beneficiaries across the 774 local government areas and the FCT.
More cheering is the news of a new scheme to start third quarter of next year in partnership with state governments.
Watch out, we're in partnership with the Bank of Enugu and some of the commercial banks to ensure that this is done. So you can be in Zamfara, you can be in Sokoto, any state you are in. We want you to access a single-digit facility. That is what you need for your business.
With the grant and cheaper loans available, Chima and millions of other small business holders are expected to expand their businesses, hire more staff, and increase production. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
In the meantime, the presidential grant and loan scheme has been unveiled in Bauchi State for medium and small-scale businesses to grow towards achieving the set objectives of the federal government's economic policies. Abdullahi Aminu has details of the unveiling with beneficiaries across 20 local government areas of the state.
These are beneficiaries of the non-repayable grant by the federal government for businesses with progressive economic potential aimed at supporting the critical economic recovery initiatives by the federal government.
The disbursement is still ongoing. What we mean by disbursement is that the payout is still ongoing. So many will be having as time goes on.
Most of them, they lost their businesses because of the situation now. But we appeal to the federal government to reduce the condition.
The scheme under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment through the Bank of Industry is among the processes of ensuring sustainable food security in the country. From Bauchi, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Artisanal mining through a very lucrative source of revenue generation, which also serves as a means of income for many, especially in communities where white-collar jobs are limited. These values are fast eroding due to myriad of challenges ranging from insecurity to lack of adequate safety measures, among other concerns. Fatima Usman in this report takes a look at artisanal mining activities in Minna, the capital city of Niger State, and measures taken by the state government to ensure responsible mining.
A supposed major pillar of Nigerian economy, if properly harnessed, is being limited by some factors including illegal practices and lack of requisite professional knowledge by artisanals. This is also coupled with the fact that artisanals and small-scale miners carry out more than 50% mineral production across the country without necessary safety precautions, equipment, and amidst other regulations. In Minna, the Niger State capital, this group of craft persons are posing security threats to law-abiding citizens in the state by encroaching on their farmlands and residential areas, scavenging for mineral resources.
The illegal miners that invaded our homes, and they said that we cannot stop them from mining in our community. And as such, because we've been putting up a communal or community effort in trying to stop them from mining the front of our houses and domain, they decided to come back and take it up on us.
They have been penetrating people's houses, including mine, destroying properties and attacking the residents of the estates.
What is more disturbing is the underage children who have mortgaged their future by abandoning school to engage in mining activities in favor of major economic benefits they get from the illegal activities.
I pack sand. Sometimes I make 3,000, sometimes 5,000.
While several attempts have been made to revamp the mining sector as a whole, a lot still needs to be done to accelerate the sector's contribution to the country's sustainable development. In Minna, I'm Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Now, when I go over to Minna to join Fatima, who will be telling us more about this lingering issue. Obviously, illegal mining is one area that the federal government frowns at the moment. So tell us, what is ongoing by the state government to change the narrative of artisanal miners out there, and of course, harnessing the potentials to really enhance socio-economic development?
Thank you very much. For now, the only thing the state government is doing is not so cheering. As they said, they depend on the Senate and the Federal House of Representatives to come up with a bill that will give them a better mining regime to ensure that both the state government, the federal government, and the artisanal miners benefit from such regime where the practices can be done according to the world global best practices. But for now, the communities where you are seeing directly behind me is not a mining site, but is supposed to be a pond where people obtain water. They use it for this vegetable farming and all that. But you can see that it has been converted to a place where they harvest their proceeds. There is the MI Ushishi where you saw on that story is very close to this place. That is where the mining pits are located, in between people's houses. Yesterday night, the estate came under attack as some of the residents that were key members of the community trying to protect the people were attacked and warned to stay off the security issues of the estate to allow them to do what they are doing.
Now,
so that is the story from the mining sites in Minna for now.
Well, Fatima, I've heard what you said, but are the community residents, are they aware of the dangers? And if they are, on their own part, what has been done to ensure that they safeguard life and property?
What they are doing on their own part in collaboration with the government, there are security operatives guiding the estate, and the estates on their own part have a committee that has put up a vigilante that are in charge of the estate security to ensure that people are not looted of their property. But that hasn't been enough. But as I have told you earlier, even yesterday, the estate was under attack at night. Some of the residents lost some of their properties, while the securities, also the head of the vigilante particularly, had his house attacked because he is trying to protect the estate. They see him as a stumbling block to achieving their aims of mining.
Obviously, would anticipate a prompt response from the government there to ensure safety of life and property, and of course, ensure that artisanal miners are aware of the dangers, and of course, get a proper regulation to make it better in terms of economic proceeds to the state and the federal government. Fatima, I'd like to thank you for your contribution in Niger State.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, we go over to Lagos Network Center, and Adeola will be our guide. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Ayodeji, and welcome to Lagos. Lagos State and the United Kingdom are on the path of building a partnership that will lead to long-term economic growth and prosperity for both Nigerian and British citizens. This was emphasized when the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu played host to the UK Secretary of State for Foreign Commonwealth and Development Affairs, David Lammy. Joy Kenabakboye reports.
It is the first official visit of the United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, to Africa, and Lagos, Nigeria, is his first port of call. Acknowledging the state's growing investment in rail transportation, David Lammy says his visit is centered on creating deeper trade and investment ties that will be a win-win for Lagos, Nigeria, and the UK.
The people-to-people links between the United Kingdom and Nigeria are second to none. UK is very much open for business. We're open for business with our old friends, and Lagos represents a very old friendship, so that there are win-wins for our peoples and our communities and for our societies.
For Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos is open to building on existing relationships and creating new partnerships in all sectors, including waste-to-energy management. He says the state government will continue to work to make the environment investment-friendly.
I want you to leave, with assurance, that the environment will continue to be a lot more attractive, to the businesses that are still sitting on the fence. Should we not? This is the time. This is the moment, and I would believe that the future, even with global disruption, the future, looks better for us, and we want to assure you that go back home with that level of confidence that Lagos is placed to be, and by extension, Nigeria.
The Lagos State government has been in collaboration with UK investors in various areas, including rail transportation. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
Estimation by the International Diabetes Federation IDF rates Nigeria as having the highest number of people living with diabetes in sub-Saharan Africa, with an estimated 3.9 million adults accounting for a fifth of all diabetic cases. Experts say with early detection and right medical attention, these unwanted statistics can be reduced to the barest minimum. Adejoke Odeka completes the report.
According to research, it is possible for a person to have health issues without knowing, as some conditions have no symptoms at first or are asymptomatic. One of such is diabetes, which may not show symptoms until they are more advanced. Medical experts say regular checkup will help lessen the complications.
except they do a general checkup, which is why we tell people to go for their checkup, to know their numbers, know what your blood sugar is in the fasting state, know what it is in the random state. And with that, your doctor can advise to tell you whether you are at risk of diabetes or have actually developed diabetes.
Having diabetes, however, does not mean one is living a reckless lifestyle. However, upon detection, medical experts advise that taking certain steps will increase the chances of managing the disease.
The most common cause is genetic. So if there is a family history of diabetes, there is a likelihood of the person having the disease.
The person has to have a healthy, balanced diet with moderate amounts of carbohydrates, plenty of vegetables, and then some protein and some fat. The other part of the treatment is that the person with diabetes should actually exercise adequately. By adequate exercise, we are talking about 2.5 to 3 hours of brisk exercise, such as brisk walking per week.
Although diabetes is a disadvantage, it is not a death sentence, as experts say education and awareness from the primary and secondary level and to communities at large will promote prevention and even improve care. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
And those are stories from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Port
Come to Port Harcourt. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has assured that the Bori and Omok zonal hospitals will be ready for public use by the end of 2024. He gave the assurance when he inspected the extent of reconstruction work at the zonal hospital sites in Ogba, Egbe, Mandoni and Kano local government areas. Osnachi Samuel has details.
This is one of the several visits of Governor Fubara to the zonal hospitals under reconstruction to examine the level of work done so far. But this time he's optimistic that the people will begin to access services before the end of the year. He assures of his resolve to ensure completion of the projects according to specification.
From what you've seen is a world-class standard of an intermediary health facility. We confirmed that the contractor is working according to specification. We promise that this project, as part of what we promised our good people of River State, that healthcare, education, and agriculture are the prime things that we must, no matter the circumstance that we find ourselves, deliver to our people.
He also inspected the Ikiri section of the 33.5 kilometers Elele-Eweda-Omok dualized road that has a river crossing bridge linking Ikwere, Emoha, Ogba, Egbe, Mandoni local government areas.
The contractor is doing a very good job, notwithstanding the flood situation that they are battling with. I strongly believe that it will be delivered as promised by the contractor.
The governor was accompanied on the inspection by commissioners for works, health, and some local government executives. From Onelga, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
To strengthen synergy among the Nigerian armed forces and other security agencies, the Nigerian Navy has kicked off a series of lectures. This is aimed at exposing participants to the rules and responsibilities of other sister agencies with a view to achieving the goal of enhancing national security. Ijoma Weke has the details.
The series of lectures for the Nigerian Navy Basic Training School Batch 36 trainees on interagency cooperation is an intellectual engagement of critical stakeholders in the Army, Navy, police, and other security and intelligence agencies to expose participants to ways of enhancing interagency collaboration with the aim of improving the internal security operations in the country. The Commandant's Nigerian Navy Basic Training School, Commodore Gideon Kachim, acknowledged that the institution is leaving no stone unturned to impacting the right knowledge to enable the officers and men to be efficient in their duties.
As the institution that trains and converts raw civilians to become able-bodied seamen to be used by the Nigerian Navy and the armed forces of Nigeria in general. The mandate is to train them to be very robust and efficient in carrying out their duties.
Other speakers, while highlighting the threats occasioned by insecurity and violence by non-state actors, said the training is a right step as this requires a collective approach.
Improved interagency collaboration at tactical level will improve the conduct of internal security operations and in turn enhance Nigeria's national security.
The trainee will each on this to be able to know that when they go out there, other security and safety agencies are partner in progress.
The lecture series at the Nigerian Navy Basic Training School, One, River State, is born out of the vision of the Chief of Naval Staff to produce a capable workforce for national security. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
It is back to Ayodeji for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Our thanks in our Port Harcourt Network Center there. Back here in Abuja, the National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, is training automobile engineers on spare parts design as part of steps to address the country's huge revenue loss due to importation of vehicle components. NADDC's Director General Joseph Osanikmi says training of some engineers on MIDA's NFX software automotive design skills will enhance local expertise and pave the way for the development of locally produced spare parts. Tokpe Alabi reports that the boots camp was organized by the council in Abuja.
Nigeria spends over $1 billion every year to import vehicle spare parts. This underscores the urgent need for local production capabilities and advanced design training to reduce dependency on foreign imports and stimulate economic growth. This is why National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, is organizing this boot camp focused on MIDA's NFX software training to empower local engineers and designers with the skills necessary to create high-quality vehicle components. NADDC's Director General Joseph Osanikmi says despite Nigeria's strides in lubricants production, the automotive market represents a significant opportunity, in harnessing local talent to design and manufacture spare parts could stimulate job creation and enhance self-sufficiency.
There is no way you can produce any component without first of all designing it. With this, we are going to create a lot of jobs in line with the Renew Hope agenda of our dear president. He has asked us to do everything possible to make sure we create jobs. Let's produce what we consume.
When they are giving this training for 2 weeks, they would have had the requisite knowledge to be able to design components and also be able to train some other engineers.
If we have tools like this that could aid us in exploring what we have, I think it's a good one. We should embrace it completely.
The lack of product we receive in form of SKD, semi-knockdown, all the analysis has been done right from the manufacturer. But with the idea of Smart and NFX, we can come in to test strong.
With this step by NADDC to train engineers in automotive design, Nigeria will join other countries to manufacture various vehicles and their spare parts. In Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the national grid experienced a partial disturbance at about 1:52 p.m. today, disrupting power supply. This followed series of lines and generator strippings that caused instability of the grid and consequently the partial disturbance of the system. Data from the National Control Center reveals that a part of the grid is not affected by the bulk power disruption. TCN assures that its engineers are already working to quickly restore bulk power supply to the states affected by the partial disturbance, even as bulk power supply has been restored to Abuja. The House of Representatives has shifted its recess to carry out oversight functions to 2 weeks from 1 week earlier announced. House spokesman Akin Rotimi says federal lawmakers will now reconvene for plenary on Tuesday, November 19, 2024. The 2-week recess is to allow lawmakers undertake critical oversight of ministries, departments and agencies of government and to ensure proper accountability on behalf of the Nigerian people. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas has also urged all members of parliament to approach their oversight responsibilities with the seriousness that it deserves. He equally asked MDAs to cooperate with visiting lawmakers in compliance with relevant sections of the Constitution and the standing orders of the House of Representatives. Zamfara State government has refuted publications making the rounds in some quarters over the abandonment of its foreign students on scholarships in Cyprus International University. Commissioner for Education and other top government officials, while addressing the media on the updates in Cyprus, said measures have been taken to intervene in the plight of the students to ensure they complete their separate durations of studies. The commissioner expressed worries over arrangements by the previous government which do not reconcile with the current records and now requires extra push, including deployment of diplomacy, to bring succor to the surrounding issues.
Stage for the payment of the following for our Cyprus students: 1 year accommodation fees, 2 6-month feeding allowance for the students, 3 renewal of their passports, 4 renewal of their resident permits, which is being handled by our diplomatic staff there at the diplomatic office in Ankara, Turkey.
The government also announced that it has cleared backlog of WAEC and NECO fees running into hundreds of millions for students in the state and urged the public to dismiss any attempt capable of undermining government's efforts in the education sector. Fatima will be our next anchor on Nationwide, and she will be joining us from our Makudi Network Center.
Welcome and thanks for joining us in Makudi. The Benue State government has commenced the relocation of internally displaced persons to the mega camp at Mbayongo camp in Guma local government area of the state. Blessing Omecha Ebute reports that the gesture is in partnership with the International Organization for Migration.
Following displacements occasioned by farmer header crisis in various communities in Benue State, internally displaced persons have been living in makeshift camps which lack basic facilities. As modalities of returning the IDPs to their ancestral homes are being worked upon, the Benue State government has relocated over 835 internally displaced persons comprising 171 households to a new location.
Moving from this place to that place, I am so excited. It's not my own, but yes, I went there, they took me there. Thank God, I dropped motor for us to go there, so I was one of them. So they took me there. I've seen the tents, I've seen the house. The house is very, very okay.
The accommodation, which is expected to house 5,000 persons, is situated at Mbayongo along the Gbajimba Road in Guma local government area of the state.
They will have water facility, they will have, as I'm saying, the hospital, they will have a school, they will have churches and electricity. I believe that this camp, when it's officially opened, the communities will come together and give it a name. Now it has no particular name.
3 IDP camps of Baka, NEPA quarters and Ichwa are expected to be relocated to the new mega camp in Makudi. Blessing Obeche Ebute, NTA News.
Meanwhile, over 50 teenage girls at the internally displaced persons camp at Bagena have benefited from the personal hygiene training and soap making courtesy of an NGO Teenagers Care for Sustainable Development initiative, Teens Care. Yvonne Solomon reports that the training is in line with the International Day of the Girl Child 2024 celebrated recently.
Girls are vulnerable as most of them have lost their parents and country home to crisis and are camped in various IDP camps in the state. Many interventions have been coming the way of these people, among which is the Teenager Care for Sustainable Development Initiative. The group's mission is to raise awareness, train teenagers to appreciate their uniqueness and shun social vices, train the teenage girls on personal hygiene, hand washing and soap making. Some of the girls say they are grateful for the kind gesture.
Thank you so much for teaching us how to make liquid soap. Now I know the opportunities. I know one of the opportunities for me to make money.
And now I can take care of myself. Again, they teach me how to prepare a soap so that I can be doing a business with it.
The Executive Director, Teens Foundation Initiative, Dr. Lotori Idoko, spoke on what motivated him to carry out the gesture.
We came to give them hope. We came to speak to them. The very little we could do was, of course, sanitary towel that we gave to the teen girls. We spoke to them about teen pregnancies, dangers of social vices, and then especially the fact that we had to talk to them about their vision for life, not to give up, not to think that it's ended here. And we are so happy that many of them are giving their feedback, that they are happy, and that gave them hope.
The girls were given tissues, washing and bathing soaps, clothes, amongst others. There were goodwill messages from the Commissioner of Health and camp chairperson. The event wraps up the training, which began October 11, 2024. In Makudi, Iverin Solomon, NTA News.
And that's it from Makudi. Nationwide continues with comfort in Enugu. After this timeout, stay tuned.
Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas.
Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Mba has flagged off the construction of Enugu International Hospital to deliver health care services to residents of the state and beyond. Chika Ugu reports that the hospital will be operational in 13 months.
Since assumption committed to the promotion of the Igbo language and culture, peace and justice in the Southeast region.
Since assumption in office, the present state government has been taking steps to address healthcare challenges in primary, secondary, and tertiary levels, such as the signing of Sumas Teaching Hospital into law, accreditation of Esut Teaching Hospital, construction of 260 Type 2 primary healthcare facilities across the state, among other initiatives. Not resting on its oars, the state governor has taken a step further to flag up the construction of 300-bed international hospital, sited in the heart of the metropolis. It is carefully designed to be a hub for medical tourism with state-of-the-art facilities that will attract medical specialists from various countries. Governor Mba says this will bring an end to people traveling abroad to seek special medical care.
This 300-bed Enugu International Hospital will offer advanced and specialized health care services.
The multi-specialist hospital promises to have a training and research hub, infectious disease control center, DNA technology center, among other unique facilities.
This facility aims to revolutionize the healthcare landscape in Enugu State and beyond. A hospital that will enable the citizens of the state Nigerians to receive the best quality care possible.
Many believe the facility will not only bring to fruition the vision of making Enugu a preferred place for living and tourism, but also address the numerous healthcare challenges faced in the country. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
A socio-cultural group, Igbo Women Assembly, has called on governors of the southeastern state to harness the industry in women to develop the agric sector for exchange, food sufficiency, and job creation in the zone. The national president of the association, Lolo Nneka Chimezie, made the call at a two-day agro-export summit themed on unlocking the potentials of Igbo women in agro-export business. Susan Eze reports on the summit held in Enugu.
Committed to the promotion of the Igbo language and culture, peace and justice in the Southeast region, and economic empowerment of women, the Igbo Women Assembly convened this summit to educate women on how to engage in and grow in agro-export businesses. Passionate about women empowerment and economic growth of the Southeast region, the president of the assembly, Lolo Nneka Chimezie, expresses her conviction that with proper guidance, support, and the right environment, women can revolutionize the business sector in the Southeast through agro-exports.
Yeah, we saw that there are a lot of potentials in agriculture, in exportation. So that was why we tried to see what we can do to lift the Igbo women from poverty.
Agreeing that the initiative is a means of job and wealth creation, the Enugu State Government, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the Bank of Industry, and other stakeholders gave assurances of their support for this project.
So we are also trying to develop our women economic empowerment policy in Enugu State, and this is exactly what Igbo Women Association is doing here today.
Women in the Southeast are very energetic, they are industrious and enterprising. So we need to really encourage them. All we need to do is to guide them.
As we live today, let us know that BOI is ready and willing to fund women.
The women drawn from the states in the Southeast zone received trainings on agro-processing and value addition, accessing finance, farm produce exportation, and other lectures that will equip them for agro-entrepreneurship. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu Network Center. Let's now take you back to Abuja for continuity.
Comfort in our Enugu Network Center. We'd like to appreciate you. The third Mainland Bridge, a major link between the island and mainland of Lagos, is one of the busy roads in the state, characterized by high volume of traffic. Since the reopening of the bridge, after extensive repairs, motorists have been compelled to comply with speed limits to avoid road mishaps. We now go over to our Lagos center out there. Of course, he joins us from Lagos, Joel Bukbola, to tell us this is quite laudable, but how effective are the speed limit devices and what's the level of compliance?
Thank you, Ayodeji. It is no longer business as usual on the third Mainland Bridge since it was formally reopened to vehicular movement on the 4th of April. Now, the comprehensive repairs carried out on the third Mainland Bridge for months was to ensure and sustain the integrity of the bridge. Now, the comprehensive repairs came with two major features, which is the speed limit and the CCTV here to ensure compliance to the speed limit. For the avoidance of doubt, the speed limit on the third Mainland Bridge is 80 kilometers per hour. Now, the CCTV here captures the plate numbers of vehicles who violate the speed limit, and their plate numbers are captured, and they will be sent the videos of their infractions on their phones to see that they have erred against the law, and a fine of 5,000 naira will be imposed on them. Now, of course, you agree with me that road safety and road management has gone digital, so they are not apprehended directly on the spot or on the 3rd Mainland Bridge and in other locations, what they do is they have to go and pay this fine to the appropriate authorities. But if they don't, these fines will keep accumulating more penalties. And at any time, any point in time, they want to renew their driver's license and other important documents, they will have to pay even more than this fine. And this fine, for the avoidance of doubt, is 5,000 naira. Now, this has brought sanity to motorists plying the 3rd Mainland Bridge. They no longer drive as if they are on car race. They comply with the speed limit to a large extent. The fact that they realize that the CCTV is watching them give them that sense of that sense of responsibility to drive safely.
Well, I'd like to thank you for that update on the reopening of the 3rd Mainland Bridge and, of course, the implementation of the CCTV there to ensure there's compliance with the speed limit device. Thanks, Joel, in Lagos.
Thank you, Ayodeji.
As the healthcare system rapidly evolves, medical experts are taking steps to adapt, innovate and contribute to the improvement of patient care and medical practice. This and other issues form the topic of discussion at the maiden edition of Scientific Conference and Dr. Samuel Tor Agbije Lecture, organized by the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, Federal Medical Center, Makudi. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports.
In the years, medical practice in Nigeria has evolved in scope and practice in terms of changing disease patterns, patients' needs, and social expectations. These evolutions include medical practitioners taking up responsibilities such as clinical, teaching, research, among others. The scientific conference and Dr. Samuel Tor Agbidi's lecture is therefore a platform to brainstorm and display research works done in and around the medical environment.
The MTCAN have had association-specific conferences. However, this is the first time we have opened our arms to all clinical-oriented departments of the hospital in a common venue to brainstorm on what affects us all.
Neurotoxicologist and integrative medicine expert Dr. John Tor Agbidie, who was a guest lecturer, harped on the impact of integrative medicine in healthcare.
Why they are supposed to slow the progression of the disease so that if the body is up and running, the immune system will take over and then bring the
Other speakers stressed the need to explore new researches and adoption of latest advancements that will benefit the health profession. High points of the ceremony was the award presentation to the pioneer Chief Medical Director of the Federal Medical Center, Makudi, Dr. Sam Tor Agbidie, for his significant contributions to healthcare in the state.
This kind of law can only be initiated by universities.
The theme for the conference is the future of the workplace, navigating the demands of health and wellness of the workforce in the current economy. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute.
Tragedy struck early Tuesday at the Federal Capital Development Authority area opposite the Minister's Gate when a young man was knocked down by a fast-moving car. Eyewitnesses say the victim was expected to resume work at the NTA Star Times office. Hawa Gimba takes it up from here.
Tragedy struck early Tuesday at the FCDA area opposite Minister's Gate when a young man was knocked down by a moving vehicle. Although the accident snuffed off his life, the swift response of the FCT police, DRTS and FCT Road Safety Corps helped to avert another accident by controlling traffic and directing pedestrians to the underground pedestrian bridge. An eyewitness, Pastor Peter Owodimo, who witnessed the incident, recounts that the victim was crossing the road when he was knocked down.
I'm certain that the guys, they were maybe coming to work or closing from work, and then on trying to cross the road, there was an oncoming vehicle, which is normally an expressway, which there is really no speed limit on the express. And then the other one ran back, and the other one ran into the car, and the car picked him. You understand? But my query is this. We have a pedestrian bridge. I think there should be an enforcement on this particular express because majorly all civil servants, they use this road. They don't really use the pedestrian bridge.
While some passers-by declined to comment, some expressed concerns about the underground pedestrian bridge, stating that the gates are often locked and lack clear signage. A family member who was notified immediately accompanied the victim to the hospital. The police have taken custody of the driver and launched an investigation. This tragedy highlights the importance of road safety and responsible driving. Hawagimba, NTA.
And that's nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Good evening.